Well, good morning and welcome. I'm Reverend John Riley, and I'd like to welcome you to Unity Palo Alto's Sunday Service Celebration, Shelter in Grace Edition. We're so glad that you decided to tune in today. And if you find what you hear today inspiring, we invite you to make a donation to help support our live stream, help support our spiritual community and spiritual center. And what we want you to know is that Unity is a welcoming and inclusive spiritual center, helping people from all walks of life do life better through spiritual practices. Today, our platform, our Sunday experience leader is Brenna Frandsen, and our soloist is Margo LeDuc. And so we'd like to start off the service, as we always do, with our opening song with Margo and Russell. Margo, take it away.
I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one. I am one with the Father, with the Mother. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God.
Thank you, Margo, and good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. I hope you all are sheltering in grace just like we are, and I am so happy to be with you this morning. My name is Brenna Frandsen. So good to connect with you. We are a part of a worldwide movement of prayer, publishing, and education, teaching practical and positive spiritual principles that you can apply every day to help you live a more joyful and abundant life. Here at Unity, this is a spiritual movement. We're welcoming, inclusive, and wherever you are on your spiritual path and in the world right now, you are welcome here. We have 5 core principles that help us on this spiritual path. Our first principle is God is. There's only one power active in the universe and in our lives, and that is God, the good, omnipotent. God is the substance and intelligence innate in all of creation and each and every person, which is our second principle. The third is the law of mind action, that thoughts in mind produce after their kind, showing us that we have the ability to affect our world. We have the prayer and meditation practice as our fourth principle. This connects us with the creative, constructive power of God to work in and through us. And the last one is the practical application. You got to walk the walk. As we live according to these truths daily, we become what we were created to be, living expressions of the image of God. And these core principles guide us in living our vision statement. And I'm going to affirm this statement, and I invite you to affirm it with me. Centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. Together, centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is. We are a welcoming and vibrant community with so many virtual opportunities for spiritual growth, sacred service, and celebrating our community. Whew, I super love this one. We are so excited to welcome Reverend Martha Creek back as our guest speaker. She has been here multiple times helping the board out, as well as doing workshops after the service and speaking on Sundays as well. So July 26th, she's widely known throughout the New Thought movement and a frequent guest here, like I said. She approaches deep inner work as an adventure with a sense of curiosity and wonder. A master of the art of right questioning, she calls forth the most stubborn and self-defeating patterns to create a new way of being, literally. She'll also be holding an online workshop called Integrating the Work, Living in Joy on Zoom. There is more information on our website. And we have 2 more fabulous pickup parties coming up. I heard that the Zoom dance party was on fire on Friday, and we're super excited to announce 3 wellness sessions with Susan Lewis. During this time of global stress, take the time to alchemize mindfulness, play, dreams, and the vision with the goal of discovering ways for you to experience a greater sense of well-being. Multiple dates and times are available, so check that out on our website. And then on August 8th, we have Dinner to Your Door by Paul and Alice Goodwin. They will prepare and deliver a complete meal with dessert to your home, prepared with love in their home. The menu is Parmesan crusted chicken breasts on saffron rice, green beans, and corn on the cob. A special dessert of lemon cloud is on the side. Order by the serving and while supplies last. This is on our website at unitypaloalto.org/fund-raisers. Don't miss the amazing concert In the Eye of the Storm with our music team, Deborah Winters, Margo LeDuc, Russell Norman, Rick Vanderveer, and Ron E. Beck. I will also be there. This is a fundraiser for Unity Palo Alto. Mark your calendar and tell all your friends this Friday, the 18th of July at 6 p.m. So excited for that one. I've been craving music. I don't know about y'all. And then after the service today, Reverend John is back again for spiritual coffee talk, followed by the prayer service with Casey Wicker. The link for the event is on our website. And a bunch of other opportunities are on our website too. You can check out our social media channels. There are so many ways to connect with us and share the good news that is Unity Palo Alto. We are the good news. Speaking of good news, you all are the good news on YouTube or Facebook or maybe on our website. So if you're there, we invite you to pop over into the chat room and greet each other. You can put your hand on your heart or send out that love in front of you. Maybe give a heart out into the world and send out that love to all your friends at Unity. If you're tuning in for the first time or back from a long absence, we'd love to hear from you. We invite you to fill out an online connection card, which can be found on our website at unitypaloalto.org/live. Happy Sunday, everyone. Now we're going to turn it over to Margo for our call to worship song.
Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Asalam, Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Asalam, Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Shalom, Asalam. Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will lighten all the world. Shanti, hallelujah. Shanti, hallelujah. Shalom, asalam. When peace will lighten all the world, all the world.
Thank you, Margo. And now a reading from the Daily Word. Today's daily word is guidance, and our affirmation is, I am divinely guided. I hope you'll affirm that with me. I am divinely guided. Guidance can be easy to find in the outer world. Maps and GPS technology can help me navigate my way just about anywhere. Everywhere I go, there are signs marking streets, adorning storefronts, and providing just about every kind of information and opinion imaginable. Spiritual guidance is not often as evident, but it is much more valuable. This guidance can come to me as a persistent tug on my attention, as a gut feeling or intuition, or even in a dream as I sleep. I pay attention to the guidance I receive and step out in faith to move my steps in its direction. I know that the spirit of wisdom and love within me are always guiding me to blessings of greater peace, love, and prosperity. And from scripture, Psalm chapter 25, verse 4, make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Margo for her solo.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. What a beautiful song by Ricky Byers Beckwith. Thank you, Margo. and welcome everyone. Let me live in a holy, holy way. I love that idea of spiritual living, of living from a place that is only of spirit, of living consistently holy, of living as best that we can from that innate beingness, that innate goodness that's within us. Last week we had our annual Q&A service where I invited our congregation, I invited all of you to send me some questions. And after the service, I got to see some of the ones that we didn't get to answer. And I'd like to bring some of those up because there's some very good ones. There were a group of questions that were really focused around the same theme. For example, how do we stay positive during such challenging times? How do we make sense of so much suffering in the world? And what can I do, or how can I calm the fear of the upcoming spike in COVID cases and deaths when science has repeatedly told us what we have to do, but so many are acting as if everything is normal again? How can we live from that place? And I tell you, I believe the answer is being spiritually intrepid. Now, I love that word intrepid. It's the idea of being adventurous, of being courageous, of living life fully. And when we look at it from the perspective of those questions, first off, it really gives us the balance that we have, what we need to do is not focus on what everyone else is saying or doing. What we need to do is focus on ourselves, to be spiritually intrepid, to live from our spiritual principles, and to not get into the judgment, the blame, shame, and guilt cycle of judging other people or trying to figure out who's at fault for the spikes. Just allowing things to be and coming from that place of spiritual intrepidness, being spiritually grounded. Our affirmation today is on the screen, and I invite you to affirm it with me. Together, with courageous faith, I embrace the moment and allow the creative power of spirit to guide me into action. I boldly explore new avenues and paths, allowing spirit to move in, through, and as me. Now, before we move on, I want you to go back to that affirmation, love, and just think about it for a moment. Did you say it out loud? Did you say it with enthusiasm, with intrepidness, with courage, with faith? Let's say it one more time. Together, with courageous faith, I embrace this moment and allow the creative power of spirit to guide me into action. I boldly explore new avenues and paths, allowing spirit to move in, through, and as me. And so it is. So the power of that affirmation comes only when we give it our spiritual power, when we say it with courage, when we say it with intrepidness, when we allow that energy to flow through us. Here are the 3 keys to living a spiritually intrepid life. It's faith, focus, and follow through. So I'd like to start with faith. First off, how do I stay positive? It is through faith. As Brenna told us earlier, spirit is transcended. Spirit transcends within us our personal self. And so we need to focus on that transcendent power that is within us. As we talk about God in unity, we know that God is everywhere present, that God is in all things, and therefore within all situations. And so what we can do is look for and have faith that God is moving through every situation, that spiritual energy is constantly flowing, that spirit is constantly flowing. When we put our consciousness in that focus, we can decide how to, where we can put our attention. We can identify ourselves with that which is less than, or we can identify ourselves with that truth about us, that we are spiritual beings. Now, faith is a power within us. It's an ability for us to put our energy into something. Whatever we put our energy into, that's where we're putting our faith into. So there's a wonderful quote by Steve Jobs that I'd like to share with you. You can connect the dots. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all of the difference in my life. That's a great quote by Steve Jobs because he's talking about this ability for us to create, to achieve, to be intrepid in life, to be courageous in life. And what he's talking about is what Unity calls in metaphysics, we call the power of our faith, the mental capacity of faith. It's what we're putting our energy into. Now, you can put your energy into the past and you can guess about the future. But if you're putting your energy into this present moment, without having to worry about whether it's going to connect, without having to worry about, what dots, whether we're moving forward in our goal, let go of some of that for a little bit. As we move into spirit and as we receive direction, have faith and leap forward with courage and just move forward, even if you can't see how it all aligns, because what you are looking at might as chaos or as confusion or as struggle, God has the energy of success. Spirit is the energy that's propelling you forward. Spirit is the energy that's lifting you up. So without trepidation, move forward with faith. Faith is our ability to focus our energy. And what we focus on becomes real for us. So where is your focus? Some people ask me, well, how often do I have to say affirmations? I tried affirmative prayers. I tried affirmations once and it didn't really work. The question really isn't how often do you have to use affirmations. The question are, what are you affirming in life? Because whatever you're affirming in your life, that's where you're putting the energy, the great energy of your faith, the great energy of your thinking into. So are you thinking about all of the suffering? Are you putting your energy into the suffering? Are you putting your energy into what other people are doing or saying? Are you putting your energy into COVID-19? Are you putting your energy into the tweets, the latest tweets of the day or the latest Snapchats of the day? Or are you putting your energy intentionally into your faith, seeking to find that which is good, that which the universe has ready for us, that is opening up to us? So that is our first key, is intentionally using your power of faith in a way that focuses you on your highest good and the highest good of those around you. The second topic, the second key is focus. Now, in Unity, we use affirmative prayer, and it's one of our key practices. And it's a very important practice. And I know sometimes when we say the word prayer, what comes to mind, what comes to your mind might be the definition of prayer you had as a child, or the definition of prayer that you had from your religious upbringing as a kid, or through your life. I want to make sure you understand what we mean by affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer is not asking for something from someone out there. In affirmative prayer, we're not seeking to find an intervention from somebody out there to intervene in our lives. One of the great questions that came up last week was, please talk about the difference between praying to God when we focus on the God outside of ourselves versus the Christ within. During times of crisis, it seems natural to reach out for support from God outside of ourselves. When I call Silent Unity or read some of Unity literature, the focus is often on God present everywhere, and it seems to be distinct from intentional prayer coming from that Christ consciousness within. Now, in Unity, we use those terms, God, Christ, in ways in which we are describing God is in that which is everywhere present. God, that is the principle of omnipotence, the principle of omniscience, and the principle of omnipresence. So the principle of omnipotence, God isn't a being that's all-powerful. Rather, God is that powerful energy, all the power in the universe that we tap into. The idea of omniscience. God isn't omniscient and knows what you need. God is the principle of omniscience. That is, God is all the wisdom in the universe, all of the knowledge in the universe, what we call divine mind, all that contains all of these ideas. God is that source of that. And God is omnipresence, meaning God is everywhere presence within me, within you, and within every situation. So when Unity talks about that idea of God from a Silent Unity perspective, they're using that generic term God because it's universal. And wherever you're at, when you're calling Silent Unity for prayer support, wherever you're at in that definition will work for you. As long as, now in Unity, when we're focused on this kind of environment, we're taking it a little bit deeper so that we have a deeper understanding that it's not that being out there, but rather it's that all omnipotent power in the world that we're drawing upon. And that Christ presence, that divine intelligence that's within you, that you might call it your better self, you might call it your higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's that essence of that allness of life that is within you. It's like God is within you like the ocean is in a wave. It's not hidden somewhere. It's the essence. It's the all of you. And so in affirmative prayer, we're not praying to God, but we're praying from that knowing our oneness with that allness of life. That's the practice. Now, there are times when we're feeling stress, and the only thing that we can do is say, I let go and I let God. I let go of the control and I allow God to move through me. I allow God to do something, or I let God guide me. And that's, when we're in that state of consciousness, we don't always have the capacity to say, I'm coming from that place of, I know that God is within me, guiding me. And maybe it feels like you're coming from out here. So wherever you're meeting it, we encourage you to just simply try it. Simply try to look at it from a new perspective. Try to look at it as if God is present within you, as if that knowledge is coming through you, as if that wisdom and that love is coming through you, and coming as you, instead of coming to you from the outer perspective. God is omnipotence, but we contact this presence through the center of our being. So to say, be still and relax, is practicing being quiet, relaxing, letting go, and of feeling the presence within you. When you might say, Our Father, if you're saying the Lord's Prayer, or if you're reciting some prayer of your own that you've done that has that idea, think about God as being a way out. Instead of thinking about God as being way out there somewhere, practice knowing that you are connecting with that presence, the Lord of your own being, that God within you, that presence within you, that experience, that allness of life that's within you. Keep in mind that the Christ center is within and works from this center in your soul. So in praying, remember that you're not praying to God out there, but because God is everywhere present, but rather you are practicing being in the contact with that omnipotent power, with that omnipotent wisdom, with that all knowledge, with that divine mind. And that in that way, prayer becomes a practice of the presence of God in your life. Prayer becomes the practice of expressing that divine intelligence in your life. And in that way, prayer is not something to fall back on when we're in great need. Rather, it's a way of living. In metaphysics, it's a state of consciousness where we're consciously tuning ourselves in to our highest good. We're constantly tuning ourselves into spirit, tuning ourselves into that divine intelligence, to that divine consciousness, and allowing ourselves to live life from that experience. So in our second key is to focus ourselves, our intentions, on living from that Christ consciousness within us, on living from that divine consciousness, that higher good, that state of all the allness of life and all wisdom that comes to, through, and as you. And silence is the inner realm in which we connect with it. And this is why meditation is so important, because it allows us to get into alignment. It settles the monkey mind. It quiets the chatter, and it quiets the inner tweets, the inner snaps, whatever you want to call it that's going on in your head. It allows them to settle so that we can tune in to that divine presence within us, so that we can give our faith over to that divine presence within us. We can turn the great energy of our thinking, the great energy of our faith, into that channel for good. The third principle, the third key, is follow through. Now, if you're a sports fan like me, you'll know that follow through is, for example, let's take baseball. Follow through is from the point that you swing, you hit the ball with your bat. The follow through is everything you do after that. It's continuing the swing forward. And that's the same thing in life. So if prayer is the culmination of that energy that you are connecting with, the follow through is your ability to launch that energy, launch those ideas, launch those goals into the outfield beyond the fence. It's your ability to take that potential energy that you've built up through prayer, through that focus, and putting it into practice. And so our practice is going to be to follow through on that. To, when we receive that guidance about what our next step is, as Steve Jobs says, we have the ability to receive that information, whatever we want to call it, whether it's, our gut, our destiny, our karma, our life intelligence, whether it's our faith. When we receive that guidance, don't worry about connecting the dots. Put it into action. Swing through the ball. Use your follow through, because otherwise it's just a dream. Otherwise it's just an idea. Otherwise it's just a virtue that we talk about, but we never put into action. And courage, being intrepid, is our ability to put it into action. Maya Angelou had this to say about courage. Dr. Maya Angelou said, "Courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently." Living spiritually courageous life is understanding ourselves at a deeper level. One of the questions that came out to us from last week was, how can I use Unity principles as a white man to support equality and justice for all people? It's a fantastic question. I ask that question of me as well. How can I, as a white man of privilege, use Unity principles to support equality and justice for all people? I think one of the first things that we need to do is to turn within, to look for that answer within us, to allow that divine love that is innate in every person in the world. Allow us to see that in each other. Allow us to express that with each other. I think it's important for us to educate ourselves, because what we know about ourselves, we're really scratching the surface just in our own self-awareness. And as we dive into our self-awareness, as we deepen our self-awareness, we become more aware of our unconscious biases. We become aware of our foibles, or let's call it our spiritual growth opportunities. There's another opportunity for me to grow. So we need to understand that about ourselves, and we need to understand that about each other. The Unity Center in San Diego, my colleague, Reverend Wendy Craig Purcell, has started a program about a year or two ago, or 3, called Dismantling Racism, the first step towards action. And she's now bringing that forward for other Unity ministries and other New Thought ministries to adopt and to take forward. It's a long process, but it's a wonderful, as I'm learning about it, it's a wonderful process of really understanding these inequalities and how one person may see things from one perspective through our own lens, and another person will see things through a different perspective, through their lens of how they grew up, through their lens of race, through their lens of sexuality or sexual preference, through their lens of gender identification, through their lens of gender, through their lens of religion. So however they're seeing their world, we need to be able to come together so that we can start to understand that about each other, so that we can start the systematic dismantling of this idea called racism. So this is a practice that maybe we need to look at. And most importantly, I think as we move through this, there's my neighbor's cat, as we move through this process, most importantly, we need to live through the Unity principles. We need to apply the Unity principles. And we need to do it courageously. Now, I know it's not always easy to say, because there's a lot of platitudes. Well, you need to look for the good in all situations. But it's true. You need to look for that divine presence in all situations. You need to seek out what is seeking to be born. You need to seek out what is expressing into the world that's good, so that we can put our attention on it, focus on that, and help it birth itself into the world. That's what dismantling racism is all about. That's what this idea of supporting equality and justice for all people, it's looking for ways for which we can birth that into our environment. And I think unity principles are perfect for that, because it allows us to come from that divine presence within us. It allows us to come from that knowing of our oneness with each other. And it allows us to live from that divine essence in life. I'd like to close by with a poem that was written by my mom, Joyce Riley. It's called Intrepid. Faithfully and joyously I embrace each day with gratitude and grace. I am intrepid, I am courageous, not over the top outrageous, enough to say this is a very, very good day. And courageous enough to know it is up to me to make it so. I need not plead, I need not plod, I am steeped in the Word of God. Let us take that into our time of prayer and meditation. I invite you to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath and to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or simply soften your gaze. As we breathe into this present moment, we allow our thoughts and our emotions to settle. We allow our monkey mind and the tweets and chats in our head to take a breath, to take a break. With a deep breath, we relax ourselves and we open our hearts to divine love, the energy of spirit that flows in and through us as us. With our minds open, we set our intentions aside and we allow divine wisdom, divine intelligence to guide us. We allow it to work through us and as us. And with a nice, deep, cleansing breath, we relax into the stillness, into the silence. With courageous faith, I embrace this moment and allow the creative power of Spirit to guide me into action. I boldly explore new avenues and paths, allowing Spirit to move in, through, and as me. I choose to live fearlessly. I choose to face every obstacle with faith and courage. And with that truth within us, we give thanks and celebrate by singing the Alleluia. And with that gratitude in our hearts, with that love in our hearts, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. I invite you to gently open your eyes if you haven't already done so and return your attention to this time and to this space. Unity Palo Alto is here to help people live life better through spiritual practices, through spiritual growth. We're here to empower you with practices that help you do life better and to live from that spiritual magnificence that is within you every moment of the day. I invite you this week to allow that knowing to work through you, to live with spiritual intrepidness. I don't even know if that's a word, intrepidness. Intrepidly, courageous, to live fully, and allow divine love to live and move and have its being in you. With a nice deep cleansing breath, we move into a practice of spiritual, stepping into the flow of spiritual life as we step into the flow of giving of our abundance, sharing our abundance. We allow that love to flow in, through, and as us every moment of the day. And in doing so, I invite you to prepare your love offering, your spiritual gift. There are so many ways in which you can give to Unity Palo Alto, whether it's online, on our website, through your phone, or sending us a check. We're so grateful for your generosity and your willingness to share of your time, your talent, and your treasure with this spiritual movement, allowing us to do what we do here every Sunday and during the week. We are so grateful for your generosity and your support. The affirmation that we say together is on the screen, and I invite you to say it with me together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. Amen. This is the second Sunday of the month, and it's the Sunday where we share our abundance with a member of our Bay Area community that serves as a safety net for those around us who are in need. And this month, we are sharing our abundance with Life Moves. We have a wonderful video that Julie Grabshai did. Unfortunately, I didn't queue it up, so I'm going to read from the website. But you can go to our Facebook page, because Sherry did a wonderful video that explains what Life Moves is all about. But Life Moves is dedicated to finding solutions to homelessness in the Silicon Valley. With 23 shelters and service sites from Daly City to San Jose, they give our neighbors experiencing homelessness a temporary place to call home while providing intensive, customized case management through both shelter programs and community outreach. With these Life Moves programs, they support 9,350 men, women, and children each year in their diligent work to return to stable housing and long-term self-sufficiency. So we are so grateful for the work that Life Move does for our spiritual community, and we're happy and blessed to share our abundance with them this month. It is time for, with that on our hearts, it is time for our closing song. So with that, I turn it back over to Miss Margo LeDuc. Take it away, Margo.
You call me out upon the water, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name, keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the water wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your Spirit. Oh, your holy, holy Spirit. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your Spirit. I will call and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine.
And now, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I invite you this week to be intrepid, to live with faith, with focus, and with follow-through. Peace and blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful week.